Kia ora koutou, my name's Emma. I'm one of the museum educators and I'm here today to talk to you about your family treasures or taonga. So we're going to hear some questions, and this is the type of thing you might do at home with someone in your bubble.
What is your object?
Alrighty, here's my object here, and my object is three monkeys. It's an ornament of three monkeys, and it's made from elephant tusk, or another word for that's ivory.
Where does it come from?
This special monkey ornament actually came from my grandmother, whose name was Rita Kahili, and there's quite a story that goes with them. So after World War II, Rita, my grandmother's husband, came back from war but became very sick, and unfortunately he passed away. Now Rita's daughter, my mum, was at that time on her OE in London, and Rita had never ever travelled overseas, so she decided that even though she'd lost her husband, she was newly widowed, that she would save up her money and get a ticket on a big sailing ship to go to England as well, and to go and live and work there for about a year. So that's what she did. Now when she got to London, she got a job as a carer, someone caring for an elderly lady. And unfortunately, the elderly lady died. And my grandmother was told that she could help herself to anything in the house because there was no family to pass anything on to. So this is the object which my grandmother Rita chose from the house and eventually brought back to New Zealand.
What was it used for?
When we were children and we went to her house in Patea, she would use it for two things. Firstly, she'd use it to tell us stories about animals, like animals from the jungle, obviously monkeys, and tigers and lions. She'd make up stories and tell us those. But also, if we look, this monkey's covering his eyes, so he can't see. This one's covering his ears, so he can't hear. And this one's covering his mouth, so he can't talk. And she used this as a bit of a teaching tool to make sure that we weren't looking at bad things, we weren't listening to bad things, and we weren't saying bad things. So as very young children, this is how my grandmother used it with us.
What would you ask the person who originally owned it?
Well, I would like to know the elderly lady in London about where she got it from and how it came to be in her house, and perhaps how old it was. That's what I'd like to know.
Why is it special to you?
It's special to me because it belonged to my grandmother, who's sadly no longer with us anymore, but it also helps tell that adventurous story, even though she must have been feeling very heartbroken and sad that her husband had died. She decided to go on this great adventure to the other side of the world when she'd never been overseas before. And those types of messages are really special to us as a family, and we remember her through this object.
What do you wonder about it?
I wonder, because it's made out of elephant tusk, where it actually came from, what country it came from, and maybe what happened to that elephant. How did it come to be made in this way? I also wondered how old it is. How long had the old lady had it in her house for? Had someone passed it on to her perhaps? They're things I'd like to know about it.
And what do you think your family will do with it in the future, and why?
Well, it is now a special family treasure, and my children do know about it, and they know what the three monkeys mean. And so hopefully one day when they get older, one of my children will also be able to have this as a family treasure and pass those special stories about their grandmother and what happened to her on to their own families.